legit. On a date.
You were on a date?
Hey, do you want to
Legit.
go?
I just was like, I gotta go.
Aww.
I left.
That sucks.
She's gonna kill me.
I would have just said, you want to come with?
Yeah, because this one was called like.
Oh my God,
It's
do they have like
I
Wi-Fi?
love being surrounded by a bunch of strangers with cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what, the thing is, just bring her in here and get to know her, be like, just
Cool.
tell us who else the questions, just.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
thank you.
If you truly believe something's gonna work out with somebody, you gotta bring them into uncomfortable situations.
All right, everybody,
Oh, I made it uncomfortable, don't worry.
let's just agree that this story is gonna take a little while longer to go
Yeah.
than usual, so we don't have to
All right,
all
sweet.
like rush to get this,
I'm fine with
open
that.
this up.
Yeah.
I'm just running,
I'm not competing with you right now, Adam.
No, we're not competing.
We're not.
There's no
this is-
chance in hell.
This is craziness.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get it done when it gets
I
done.
told my boss, I said, I'm writing something for online, I'm not even gonna, our print deadline is dead. So, this is not like, this is like not a non-competition.
Yeah,
Not a situation.
this is not a competition, right?
All right, yes, ma'am.
We should just send our stories, both posted 11, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody good? Want to screw you up if I turn off the light?
Sounds good, see you.
Are you trying to get some
No
atmosphere?
light. Darn it. Just keep doing this. They
No,
teach them.
I'll fall asleep.
It is late.
Yeah.
How did we do this before? I think we did.
There we go.
They recently changed the lights. Are you okay with that, or do you want backlight on? I can put backlight on if you want to see these guys. Okay. Well, you don't want us to stare into the light, so I thought you should have a say.
Travis is here? Oh my God.
Here,
I'm gonna fall.
And we haven't seen him in a while.
you know, I just had a great show with my presents.
I didn't get any pictures tonight, so you must be all right.
I don't know if you heard what happened tonight, but one person has in this room. Maybe Adam did too.
What?
Yeah, Adam doesn't know.
Yeah, I might know.
I won.
Oh, I do know.
I won Journalist of the Year.
I heard that. Congratulations.
You did.
Congratulations.
You do
I
it?
did know that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I did.
You deserve it, dude, though.
Thanks,
You
man.
deserve, I mean, you know what?
I was shocked. I literally didn't know what happened. I literally was like, "What? Why is my picture on the screen right
Is this
now?"
actually, did they actually call this press conference so we could just surprise you?
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, that's all
Just kidding.
Really didn't have anything happen tonight.
Yeah, just kidding. I don't
We
know.
were saying, is this a Halloween like prank?
Maybe you saw Chief Holbrook on the news and you were like,
Yeah.
you know what? I can do that too.
Come on.
I'll see you your 9:30 and I'll raise you 10:30.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
did see
I
that.
said that would happen tonight.
I was gonna
You know,
tweet
there would
something
be
out, I was
something.
gonna tweet at you, but you know, well deserved, man. I mean,
Thanks, appreciate it.
now get to work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I gotta work tomorrow. I work the Saturday
The
shift.
problem with being journalists of the year is now they're just gonna, you know,
Now people, yeah, exactly. They want you to do stuff.
now it's like, oh, well now.
Now the expectations are high.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
yes,
it's-
okay, yes.
but yeah, that was cool that you, and Travis spoke with me too, which was good.
I think everybody's here. Y'all want to get started? We want to get started.
Yeah.
Sure,
Let's do it.
sure.
Yeah, this will be fun.
All right, thumbs up when you're ready, please.
Okay.
I'm standing here again tonight talking about how fortunate we are that we didn't lose some deputies. We had an individual shoot at our deputies multiple times tonight. It started in the Briarcliff subdivision, which is in northeast Columbia. Got a call from a neighbor at 6:34, said that his neighbor was up on the roof and had a gun and was screaming and thought something was wrong with him. So our deputies responded, and we did find an individual up on the roof. It was armed with a gun. Negotiators got there and started talking to him. After a period of time, he stopped negotiating with us, stopped talking to us, and started shooting at us. He actually shot multiple times at our deputies. We had two deputies return fire. They did not hit him, but he stopped shooting at that point, and we continued then to bring the SRT, our special response team, in and surround the area. He continued to shoot, shot at our drone a couple times. We believe he was still shooting at our deputies. We put tear gas on him to try to get him off the roof, at which time he did come off the roof. He ran, jumped over a fence, tried to escape. We were able to chase him down and tase him a few times and get him apprehended. He's not injured beyond being tased. EMS came, they treated him on the scene. He is at the hospital at this point for further treatment. It's just, again, a very fortunate incident that didn't result in one of our deputies getting shot or getting hurt. And the bad guy was arrested without us having to take his life. And I'll just have to, credit our deputies for showing a lot of restraint. Even though he had shot at us, our snipers had the opportunity that they could have shot him, but they did not. We wanted to make sure that we used every means we could. That started with negotiations, then it went to tear gas, and we did not escalate it to the point where we had to shoot him. And so it was a successful conclusion to a long night, very stressful night for that neighborhood. We had to evacuate the houses in that immediate area. The neighbors were scared. You can imagine when the neighborhood gets invaded by a lot of cops coming with sirens. Fire trucks were there in case EMS was there. But again, just very fortunate that we didn't have anybody hurt tonight. Questions?
So it sounds like a kind of typical mental health crisis. Do you have any indication of that, or?
Probably. There's probably some mental health issues, and that played a big factor in us and some decisions that we made. But again, somebody on a mental health crisis doesn't justify you shooting at us. Particularly when we're trying to talk with him and trying to get him help. But then to shoot at us multiple times, that doesn't justify that. So he is at the hospital. He'll be evaluated, and then at that point, a decision be made if he's going to be committed or if he's going to be put into Alvin S. Glenn. He'll be charged with if he gets charged, he'll be charged with multiple counts of attempted murder for shooting at us.
Sheriff, what time was this at? I think you gave an address. I didn't catch it.
It started at 6:34 when we got our first call. He started shooting at us at 8:21.
What was the address?
I didn't get the address. It's in Briarcliff.
In Briarcliff.
I'm not going to give the address at this point, and I'm not going to identify him at this point because we haven't charged him. But it's in the Briarcliff subdivision, which is in northeast Columbia.
Was he known to you prior to this?
We hadn't got that far yet, but I don't think so. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he started shooting at 8:21. Around what time was he apprehended?
Probably 9:30ish, something like that. Again, he'd shot initially at us, and then we returned fire. He stopped shooting, and then at some point later he started shooting back again. Shooting at the drone, shooting at deputies that was in the vicinity. Again, our deputy showed a lot of restraint after that first shots at us, not to shoot him.
Was it a handgun that he had, a rifle? Or?
He had a handgun.
Okay.
He had a handgun and he had a knife. He was armed with both of them.
You ever threaten himself or anything?
No.
He was on the roof.
No. Again, I think you were correct and said there was some type of mental health crisis that was going on. And that's what we tried to talk with him on those terms to try to get him help. He didn't want it. He wasn't going to accept it, and then made that decision. And initially it could have been the thought maybe suicide by cop, but once the gas was deployed, he tried to escape at that point. So I think he had a little bit different frame of mind. Then he ran with the gun and then threw the gun down. Again, our deputy showed a lot of restraint when he was running with the gun, not to shoot him, but they didn't.
Sounds like you're describing a by-the-book operation as far as it can go.
It's pretty much by the book. We had our region deputies there. We had our SWAT team, which we call a special response team. We had supervisors on the scene. So we pretty much by the book, and it was successful. I think that's one of the main points that I want to get across tonight. It was very successful. Everything that we did to try to de-escalate it and then use non-lethal means worked tonight.
So just to reiterate, no injuries?
No injuries. He got tased, so that didn't injure him, but had to take the prongs out, so we had EMS do that. And again, he's at the hospital being checked out just to make sure. He doesn't have any injuries, but I saw him, he didn't have anything.
And no injuries to the deputies?
No, none to the deputies, besides the mental, I guess you want to call it, they do have injuries because they were shot at. You know, mentally, no physical injuries, but again, just because you don't have a physical injury doesn't mean that you're not suffering from this. And that's getting shot at is not something that you forget, and it's not something that you take very lightly, and that's what happened tonight. So we'll address our deputies. Our shooting team is on the scene now, conducting their investigation. Again, but no one was hit.
Any deputies you specifically want to acknowledge for their good work? I know there's crisis negotiators.
Everybody was there. Crisis negotiators that tried to talk with him. Our initial deputies, the region deputies that responded. I think everybody did a great job. I mean, it was a team effort. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. Evacuated the residents around there to make sure that they wasn't in danger. I mean, just think of the fear that they had, that you're hearing shots. You know we're out there, and you know a guy's on the roof with a gun. You don't know where a bullet's going to go. So, again, no physical injuries tonight, but just a lot of psychological, I think, damage was done to citizens tonight who lived there, and then also to our deputies that were involved in this.
How many shots were fired at them?
We hadn't got that far yet. He shot enough where he had to reload and had another magazine. So I can't give you that. That's the shooting team is getting all that. They're on the scene now, crime scene there, photographing everything and getting evidence.
And how many homes were evacuated?
Probably 10 to 12 homes, all in that immediate area.
So it was essentially just to set up a perimeter. So you
Set up a perimeter, get the people out, protect them, make sure that they're not victimized, and then set up a perimeter and lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it worked because he didn't escape. He tried to escape, he didn't make it.
You know, one of the strange things about these shootings recently to me is, like, I grew up in Northeast Columbia. I had a friend who lived in Blythewood. I mean, Briarcliff there. I lived in Blythewood. But like a lot of shootings seem to be happening in neighborhoods in the suburbs now. And I don't know, maybe I just didn't know about that when I was younger, but it just seems like that's a trend now.
Things are a lot different than when you were growing up.
Yeah.
The number of guns on the street wasn't there. The lack of respect for human life wasn't there. I think that's what we've seen, a big difference between when you were a kid growing up and going through the DARE program in the 5th grade to where we're at now.
The remarks you just made literally echo what Chief Holbrook said the other night when we were there about, the arrest made in the Knowledge Sims case. He was talking, I know that, you and him talked a lot about it, just talking about the preponderance of guns on the street and, the fact that, folks maybe aren't coming forward and cooperating as well as they should or could. And, you've talked about it a lot, just, the number of firearms that are out there.
Right. And they get the firearms from people who leave them in their vehicles and leave their vehicles unlocked. And that's what we keep preaching. We can have an impact on that by people just not leaving guns in their vehicles and keeping their vehicles locked all the time. Every night you got young people going through neighborhoods and just opening car doors and finding guns. Those guns end up on the street and they end up in a shooting. I don't know where tonight's gun, we hadn't got that far to see if it was stolen or where it came from or anything like that, but we'll do all that. There's a lot of investigations got to go on before this thing's over with. The main thing is tonight it was a successful conclusion to it. Good guys didn't get shot and the bad guy didn't get shot.
Now, you did say it was a group effort in making this arrest and things like
Right.
that. Now, who initiated the do not, who gave that call to not use deadly force? Was it the deputies on site or were there higher ups?
No, higher ups were there. I was in contact with them. I was on the scene, and then we had other supervisors there. So, the deputies have the ability to make an immediate decision if somebody's life's in danger, their life or someone else's life. So they can do that. But when we're in a situation like this, then there's procedures that we follow, and that's what we did tonight. So there's certain orders that are given, and that's what we were doing tonight.
Was this in the Sandhills area?
So too much.
Yeah, Briarcliff is, if you want to call it the Sandhills area. Sandhill Mall's not that far away
Close
from
to
it.
Spring Valley.
Yeah. It's an Elgin address, but it's I don't know if you want to call it the Sand Hills there. It's northeast Columbia. All right, thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm gonna go home with this.
I'm not ready.
You really want that thing?
Huh?
You really want that thing?
I did.
It's not even